Namaste. In this session, we will be looking at scikit-learn's one hot encoder class. Now, one hot encoder works pretty much in the same way pd.getDummies works, as we saw in the previous lecture, but there are a few striking differences and a few advantages of the scikit-learn's one hot encoder class over pd.getDummies. So we will look at what are those advantages and why it is the preferred method. I hope you know what creating of dummy variable means by now. It basically means that if you have three categories in a particular column, then create three different columns for each of those categories and populate it with one or zeros depending upon the value in that column. Right? For example, the color was blue, so the color underscore blue was 1, etc. Okay, so this is basically called dummy variable encoding. So scikit-learn's one-hot encoder does the same thing. Now I have imported pandas. I have created this data frame. This is the same data frame as we saw before. Now from the model selection, I have imported train test split to split the data frame first. Now I will import from sklearn.preprocessing. I'll import one hot encoder class. Okay, and now I'll create a one hot encoder object and I'll specify sparse is equal to false. Now by default it was written as a sparse matrix, but we want a dense matrix, right, which we can see now. So I'll specify sparse is equal to false here. Okay, so this is the object that we have created now. Now I'll simply fit my required columns on my OHE object, and which is my required column now. My required column is my color column, and so I'll simply fit xtrain of color. Now if I execute this, it will give me an error telling me that it expected a 2D array but it got a 1D array because xtrain of color is a series basically. So if I check here, xtrain of it is a series now, but I have to pass it as a data frame structure, as a 2D structure. So I'll put double square brackets here. Okay, so now it has created the object that we have required. So now if I do dot transform and pass in this same color column here, now you see what has happened here. It is giving us the same result like 100. So this was for blue 100 as we saw here as well. 100 was for blue, then for green it was 010. So the second one is 010, second one is green here, first one is blue. So you see the result is the same, but you will see what difference is in just a moment. Now uh, in getDummies we were getting a complete new data frame with the column names. Here we have been returned a numpy array by default, but don't worry, we can transform it into a data frame whenever we like. Okay, so that is not a concern right now. Now we have transformed the xtrain of color. Now what do you think will happen if I transform x underscore test of color? Now if you check what is x underscore test here, it is only two values here, red and green. It doesn't have blue. Now in getDummies, when we did getDummies, it returned us only two columns, two extra columns of green and red. It skipped the blue part. But what would happen here is, you see, oh, this is OG. You see, it is giving us three columns here as well, just like the original structure on which we fit the data frame. So what has happened here is, you see the first one is red, so red was 001 here as well. The sixth last one was red was 001, so red has been kept as 001 here as well. The next one is green was 010, so 010 is here as well. We didn't have blue, but if we had blue, the blue would have been 1 here and two zeros here. So you see, it is retaining the original structure of which of x underscore train, because we fit our one hot encoder object onto this xtrain of color column here. So this is one big advantage of using one hot encoder. It retains the structure and it helps very much in the machine learning model. Okay, so this was one of the advantages. Now the next advantage, if we were using getDummies And just for example, just assume that I have this new data frame now, flowers underscore new, and instead of this green here, there was a green written here, I have changed it to pink, right? All of the other things are same here. If I have this pink colored flower here, okay, a unique flower, only one value here. Now, if I fit another object of one hot encoder, specifying sparse is equal to false. Now, I have created this encoder object. If I fit my xtrain of color on this, now you see it has fit this. Now I can also do directly fit underscore transform because it is a training data, so it is just skipping one step. Okay, you see this is the same result here. Oh, okay, my bad, I didn't do the train test split here, so I need to do it again. Okay, so x1 is my training x, x2 is my testing x, and similarly for the y's. Okay, so this is my new training and testing data. Okay, so now I don't have to do it on xtrain but rather on x1. Now you see uh, what has happened is, if I check what was my x1 of color, so xtrain had only three unique values again, blue, green and red. So it has created three dummy variables for us. Blue has 100, green has 010 and red has 001. Okay, so now if I check what was my x underscore 2, x underscore 2 had red and pink. Okay, now if this was the case in pd.getDummies, that I have an unseen value in my test data, right? Because before I had red and green and both of those data were seen in the training data as well. Okay, so it was no big deal. But what if instead of green I have pink here? Then pd.getDummies will create a new column for pink, okay, and which will not be seen in the training data. So this will create another mismatch and it will not be basically correct, right? So what one hot encoder does is, if I check what would happen now to for that to happen, I now first have to specify another parameter, which is handle unknown is equal to, I can either say ignore or the default one is raise. Okay, so default one is raise. So you see this, if this is a default one, now if I fit my encoder here, it will tell me handle unknown. Okay, it is not raise, it is basically error, the parameter. hmm. So now if I fit it, now you see I have got the same result because it saw the three categories in the training data and it fit the object here. Now if I do enc1 dot transform, if I do x underscore test, okay, or rather x underscore 2, it will give me an error because it is saying that the, okay, if I have to do of color. Now it is telling me found unknown categories pink in the column 0, right? So because this is because handle unknown was by default error, I have to set it to ignore here. Okay, and now if I again set, now you see what it has done is, for the pink color, for red, of course it has done the same thing of 001 as it had seen in the training data, but for the pink, that is for the unknown category, it has transformed it to 000. Okay, so this is how scikit-learn avoids any potential conflicts of not seeing a particular feature of a particular category in the training data. Okay, so if it directly sees a new category in the testing data, it will assign it all zeros and it will not break our code. Okay, so this is another good reason for using one hot encoder, because it will automatically do this work for us. Okay, so I hope I am clear by now as to why we should be using one hot encoder. Although we are not getting a pandas data frame by default, but we are getting a NumPy array here, which we can easily convert into a data frame. Now we will look at a real world example. So I have successfully loaded in the income evaluation dataset that we have been seeing in the previous lectures as well. Now I will have to first split the dataset into training and testing, as also we have been doing all along. Okay, so this is my income column, is my category, is my output column, is my basically my dependent column. Okay, so this is my df. Very good. Okay, so now this is my xtrain, xtest, ytrain and ytest done. Now I'll create an object called o1, one hot encoder object, and here I won't specify sparse is equal to false. I'll let it be sparse is equal to true, which is, if you see, the default value here. So we'll see how we can work with sparse is equal to true later. Now I've created this o1 object. Now o1 dot fit. Now what I want to fit is, I have to pass in the name of the columns that I want to fit. So if, for example, we want to fit this work class column, so I'll say x underscore train of work class. Now I have to pass in this as a 2D array here. Okay, so also I can directly do fit transform because this is the training data. So now you see we have a sparse matrix here because we didn't specify sparse is equal to false. But what we can do here is, we can say dot to array. Now it is giving us a dense array now, okay, with zeros and ones. So if I check this data frame, you see we have 9 columns here. 9 columns because if we check the, for example, for xtrain of work class dot unique, you see I have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. I have 9 different categories in work class, and hence I have 9 different columns here, one for each column. You see in each row I have only one and all other zeros. So that is how one hot encoding works. Now I can similarly just transform o1 dot transform my x underscore test of work class. This is also a dense, this is also sparse matrix. I have to specify to array to make it a dense matrix. So I have successfully now converted the test work class also. Now we'll see how we can work with two, with more than one, basically how we can work with more than one columns. It is pretty much the same. For example, if you want to work with work class and for example occupation, okay, work class and occupation. So what we'll do is, I'll create another object called o2, called one hot encoder. Here I'll say sparse is equal to false. Then on this o2 object, I'll fit, what I'll fit is, I'll fit two columns. So I'll call xtrain of, I'll pass in work class and occupation, this extra space here. Okay, now I've fit this data frame onto this object, fit those columns onto this object. If I check how many columns uh, this new object has, okay, if I do pd.data frame, you see we have 24 new columns here. Why 24? Because occupation, if I check for occupation, x underscore train of occupation dot unique, if I do simply n unique, it will give me the number of unique values. There were 15 n unique values of occupation, and for work class there were 9. So 15 plus 9 is 24. So now we have 24 different columns here, each one representing one different category. So if you see, it is not visually pleasing to see these zeros and ones. So how we can convert these zeros and ones into the column names? It is pretty easy. Scikit-learn has provided this feature. So if we call this o2 object, okay, and if I call get feature names, okay, pass this method. So see, now it is giving us all the names of the columns here. So in a very simple manner, what I can do is, I can call this data frame, and for the columns argument I can pass in this o2 dot get feature names array here, And now one more thing I'll do here. It is because we have pandas is only showing us the 20 columns here, but we first 10 and last 10, but we want to see all the columns, so I'll do this. Now see, it is showing me all the columns. So if I check for the work class, I had federal government, local government, never worked, private, self-employed, not income, state government, and without pay. Okay, so these were my all my categories for the work class column. For the occupation, I had from this question mark until the transport moving. So this is it basically. For the first row, basically I had one and my private. So the first person was a private person, work class was private, and his occupation was craft repair. Okay, so this is dummy encoding for more than one column. So most of the time you would be fitting a model directly after doing this one hot encoding, so you wouldn't need to do this call this columns. But if you want to do further analysis, then you need to do this as well, call this columns argument and pass in this o2.get feature names, which captures all the column names. Okay, so this was for the two columns. Now if you want to do for all the columns, what we can do is we can capture all the categorical columns in this data frame. So I can say give me column for each column in xtrain.columns if xtrain of column dot d types equal to object. So now it is giving me all the columns which have uh, object category, which are basically of which are of the object data type. Okay, so these are the columns. So I can save this in categorical. I can save this object categ. Okay, so now I can similarly create another object called O3, which is one hot encoder. Now I'll specify sparse is equal to false. Now on this O3 object, I will fit underscore transform. What I'll transform for x underscore train of all the categ. Okay, so what do you think this is doing? So I'll show you x underscore categ. So this is basically not showing me all the columns, but only the categorical columns of this x train. Okay, because this categ is holding all the categorical columns here. So now if I fit and transform, you see it has fit and transform for me. Now if I check the size of this data frame, I'll first convert it into a data frame and call the shape of it. You see, I have 102 columns now because there were so many categorical columns in my original data frame, and for each of those categorical columns it calculated one column for each of those features, right? So there were in total 102 different categories in all of those categorical features combined. So you see, we have dramatically increased our feature space from around 15 columns to 102 columns now. So this is also one of the shortcomings. If you can, I mean, you can't say a shortcoming because a machine learning model can handle 100 columns. It can handle thousands of columns as well. So this is the thing about one hot encoding that you need to keep in mind. It will increase the feature space. Next, we will look at one parameter called the drop parameter. Okay, so in this one hot encoder, we have also one uh, parameter called drop. We can specify drop as two values here. We can either say first or we can say if binary. Okay, so what are these two values? Basically, this is called a dummy variable trap. So there is a concept called dummy variable trap in one hot encoding. Like for example, if we see here in this X train, just look at this example now. If we remove this blue column, okay, then we will have these only green and red column now. So but now even though we have removed this blue column, we have not lost any information, because now if you see, if we have only 1 and 0, it is green color. If we have 0 and 1, it is red color. and if it is 0 and 0, it is blue color. So you see, even after removing this one column, there is no data loss. So this prevents a concept called multicollinearity. You can read about it on the internet. What is this dummy variable trap? I'll post a link to it in the description below. So it basically depends from case to case whether you have to or you need to drop the one of the columns or not. Because for example, if you drop this blue column here, then even though no data loss is occurring, but you are losing one whole column. So if you're using a feature selection algorithm to select the best features for your model, then your model will never see this blue color feature, right? So this will create a little bit of biasness, because maybe this blue color feature was a very good feature for determining the output variable. So this creates a little bit of issue. So you need to make sure whether you have to uh, drop this column or not. Okay, so we will see what happens when we drop this column. So if I set drop is equal to first, so what would happen is it would drop the first instance of each feature. Like for example, so now what would happen is it would basically drop one of these rows, one of these columns here. Like I told you, it will drop the color is equal to blue. So here also it will drop one of the columns here. If I say drop is equal to first, and now if I execute this, now you see there were 102 columns now. Now if I check how many columns are there now, it will show me only 94 columns. Why 94? You will just cross verify. If I check categ, if I do the length of categ, I'll have 8, right? So basically what it did was, for each of those 8 categorical columns, it dropped the first occurrence of each feature. From 102, if we subtract 8, we get 94. It dropped one column per categorical variable. This was basically all about one hot encoding. So if you have any doubts, or if I wasn't clear enough, then please let me know in the comment section below. I'll be happy to address all your doubts, because this is a very important topic. So thank you for watching, and if you like this video, then please do not forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in the next lecture. Thank you.